Good morning. Myself, Dr. Ashok Jagannath Patel, Associate Professor at Pratap College, Amalner. Title of the lecture is Silkworm Rearing. Here in the rearing, we'll see about the rearing technique. There are the various aspects. First one is the selection of the quality seeds. Good quality seeds can be obtained from the grainages. Second one is the brushing. Transferring the newly hatched larvae from the egg sheet card to the rearing bed and gently provided with the mulberry leaves. This operation is called the brushing. Quality of food. The growth of the silkworms depends on the right selection of the mulberry leaves. Shape and size of the leaves. Mulberry leaves are fed to the larvae in chopped conditions. What are the advantages of the chopped leaves? That is, they are spread evenly, prevent silkworm bed from getting damp in wet weather. They do not curl on when the weather is dry. Shape of the leaves is also important. They are square, long strips, or triangular. How the preparation of the feed bed for different rearing methods are takes place. The feed bed is a layer of chopped leaves spread on a tray over a large area. In the case of the first second instar larvae, a good quality of paraffin paper sheet is spread in a rearing tray. Finally, chopped mulberry leaves are evenly scattered on the newspaper and the larvae carefully brushed onto the leaves. A second sheet of paraffin paper is placed loosely over the bed, and in between the two sheets and on all sides, water soaked foam rubber strips or wet newspaper folds are placed to maintain the humidity. To prevent muscardine disease, particularly in humid places, a thin layer of sericin lime is spread over the bed as a prophylactic measure. The older instars, that is the third and the fourth instar, can be reared by three methods, namely shelf rearing, floor rearing, and the shoot rearing. First one is the shelf rearing method. Rearing of silkworms on the bamboo rearing trays, arranged one over the other in tiers on rearing stands, is called shelf rearing. A stand can accommodate 10 to 11 trays, and therefore this method provides economy of space but requires more labor for handling so many trays. Larvae are fed on chopped leaves in this method. The second one is the floor rearing method. This is another method of rearing silkworms on fixed rearing seats or benches. 5 by 7 meter, 5 to 7 meter by 1 to 1.5 meter size constructed in 2 to 3 tiers of wooden or bamboo strips used for rearing the silkworms. Leaves in this method are also given in chopped state. This method is financially more economical than the first one because it does not involve labor in handling trays. This method is more used in Japan. Third one is the shoot rearing method. Shoot rearing is very similar to the floor rearing. Silkworms are reared on big branches in one or two tiers. The big shoots harvested from the fields are fed straight away to the worms. These rearing sheets are usually 1 meter wide and of any length. Shoot rearing is usually on single tier, 20 centimeters above the ground, and outdoor shoot rearing is possible only when the atmospheric conditions are favorable. At temperature approximately 25 degrees Celsius, to change the bed in this method, ropes parallel to each other are stretched on the old bed and shoots are placed on the ropes. When all the larvae have climbed on the new branches, the ropes are rolled in to loose bundles, the old bed and the litter cleaned, and the ropes and the branches spread again. Make a new bed. This method is suitable for 4th and 5th instars and save both the labor up to the 50 to 60% and lose 10 to 25%. So most economical of the three methods. Bed cleaning methods. Periodical removal of the unconsumed dry leaves along with worm excreta, exuvia. It is the cast of outer skin of an arthropod after a molt. And from the rearing bed turn as cleaning. It is necessary not only from the hygienic point of view but also from the point of proper growth of the larvae. This has to be done periodically, that is, once during first instar, twice during the second instar, thrice during the third instar, and daily during the fourth and the fifth instar. Four methods are usually adopted for bed cleaning. First one is the conventional method. The worms in first and third instars are simply swept together with feather and transferred from old to the new bed, and the worms in fourth and fifth instars are transferred manually. This method is practiced by farmers. Second method is husk method. In this method, a thin and even layer of paddy husk is scattered the chopped leaves. The worms quickly crawl through the husk to get at the feed, whereupon they can be removed to the new tray. For the first and second instars, the husk may be broken by pounding. For the third instar, whole husk, and for the fourth and fifth instar, even chopped straw can be used. For the first two instars, husk could be suitable by the round-holed mosquito net. It helps to identify tiny larvae on white background. Next one is the net method. In this method, a cotton or nylon net of suitable size is spread over the old bed and fresh leaves are scattered on it. The larvae, as usual, migrate to the net in search of fresh leaves and can be collected and transferred to the new bed. Fourth one is the combined husk and the net method. In this method, a thin layer of paddy husk is sprinkled over the old bed and a net of suitable mesh is superimposed on it. Two successive feedings follow, where after the net with the worms, it is transferred to another tray. This method combines the cleanliness of husk method with ease of transference of the net method. It also requires less skill and care in manipulation, though it is slightly more expensive. What is the spacing, molting, and mounting? Spacing means avoiding the overcrowding of the caterpillars by increasing the size of feeding tray with growth of the worms. For good results, rearing space may be doubled or tripled for first to third larval stage, three times more than this for the fourth, and two times more than this for the fifth instar. Molting. It is also called as ecdysis. Molting is a very critical event in the life of the caterpillar. When about to molt, the larvae attain their maximum size for the particular instar. At this stage, carries out bed cleaning and leaves should be chopped to small size for the pre-molt feeding. When the larvae settle down for molting, they stop feeding. It is advisable to sprinkle to some lime powder after the last feed, which prevents early ecdysing the larvae from commencing feeding and thus maintaining the uniform growth in all. During molting, the worms are more susceptible to muscardine infection, which could be prevented by dusting them with sericin plus lime powder. Mounting, that is transferring mature larvae, which are of fifth instar, to the mount edges. It is also called as the chandrikas, is called the mounting. Towards the final larval instar, the silkworm stops feeding and gets ready to build the cocoon prior to transferring itself into the pupa inside the cocoon. Methods of transferring mature larvae to the mount edges. First one is a free mounting method. In this method, instead of collecting the mature worms from the bed, the mount edges or chandrikas are placed in the beds themselves and the worms crawl upon them. Second one is branch mounting method. In this method, the branches of the mulberry with green leaves are kept over the rearing bed, and when the worms crawl onto them, they are shaken off on a net and transferred to mount edges. Third one is net mounting method. In this, net is spreaded over the bed after feeding. The non-feeding mature silkworms come up and crawl onto the net, which then shaken on a mat and the larvae transferred to the mount edges. Environmental conditions and care during spinning. Environmental conditions during the mounting is important as it determines the quality of the cocoon spun. Room temperature not exceeding 26 degrees Celsius and relative humidity between 60 to 70%. Too high temperature induces the larvae to spin their cocoons in hurry and quality of cocoon is affected. That is, irregular shaped cocoons of poor quality and thicker fibers. Much lower temperature causes delay in spinning, adversely affects the color of the texture of the silk, thread becomes thin and cocoon flaccid. Harvesting of cocoons. After the cocoons are completely formed, they are removed from the mount edges and the surrounding floss is removed is called harvesting. Sorting of cocoons. Among the harvested cocoons, there are normal cocoons, slightly defective cocoons, highly defective cocoons, double and unhealthy cocoons. It is necessary to reject the defective cocoons. This is known as sorting of cocoons. The color of the cocoon in the commonly reared silkworm strain is mostly white. Besides this color, there are cocoons of different colors such as golden yellow, flesh yellow, crimson, bamboo leaf color, and green. The color pigment of the cocoon is chiefly present in sericin. The cocoon of domestic silkworms is of various shapes: barrel shape, oval, round, spindle shape. The cocoons vary in its size according to the strain. Post-harvest processing of the cocoon. Sericulture part ends after the harvesting of the cocoon and begins the industrial part of the silk industry. Stippling. What is stippling? Drying cocoons under the sun, hot air, or steam. These are the different types or the ways to use for the stippling. Cocoon boiling. This is done to make the cocoon thread reliable by dissolving the gum like sericin that binds the winding of the thread. Brushing. Brushing is done for seeking the free end of the silk filament in the cocoon. It could be achieved manually or by mechanically operated brushes. Reeling. This is the process of unwinding the silk thread or brains from the cocoons, combining the required number of the brains to produce silk filaments of a required thickness and gathering the same on the standard reels. All the three steps of this process go on simultaneously. Re-reeling. The raw silk is first reeled on small reels, allowed to properly dry up on them, and then re-reeled on large reels. Direct reeling on large reels leads to insufficient drying, which in turn leads to production of hard gum spots on the thread. Finishing. In this process, the visible defects of the raw silk thread like oversized knots, loose ends, etc. are removed and the silk is boiled, stretched, purified by acid or by fermentation, and repeatedly washed to bring out luster or gloss characteristic of the silk. Testing. There are Indian and international standards to judge the quality of raw silk and facilitate its marketing. To maintain these standards, raw silk is put to a number of tests to assess its size, variations, winding quality, neatness, evenness, cohesion, and tenacity. Uses of silk. Silk is valued for light, durable, lustrous fabrics. It is hygroscopic, very hygienic and poor conductor of heat and electricity. It is used as insulator in the coils of telephones, used in various views satin, velvets, gloves, shocks, embroidered figures, ornamental fabrics for saris, jackets, shawls, wrappers. Conclusion. In this lecture, we study about the rearing of silkworm and post-harvest processing of cocoons. Thank you.